almost like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized system.
Friends, welcome to Flashpoint Radio. It is Tuesday, April 24th, 2012. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Jay-Z, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, home of the Mayak Report, which we will get to in just a moment. Check out my Ron Paul update that was posted tonight as well. It is extremely important that you get that video out to everyone, or a video from someone detailing how Ron Paul still has a chance and still is, well, basically winning. But for the regular Flashpoint Radio episode this evening, we will be dovetailing some reports in quite nicely with last night's reports revolving around the NSA spying and snooping in all of your electronic communication. Last night we went over the fact that they're building a $2 billion facility in Utah that will have the world's largest supercomputer capable of basically downloading and storing all of the information. That's it, all of the information. And compiling it, data mining it, and building profiles for every American. It was brought to us, or the information was brought by a whistleblower, Mr. Binney. Watch the report from last evening, then watch the roundtable discussion, read the Wired Magazine the Wired Magazine report that details it. And one of the things that he detailed was the fact that after September 11th, when they decided to begin to spy on communications, they could have placed the spying apparatuses at the coastlines where the fiber optic cables come in underneath the sea from other countries. Instead, they decided to put them in strategic locations around the country, in nondescript blank buildings that would spy on domestic emails and phone calls. So you say, well, why would they do that? The terrorists are in the Middle East, Indonesia, North Africa, South Africa, wherever they are. They're not here, are they? I have had some commenters say that the hippies or the Occupy movement or the people that the government is afraid of. Are you insane? Why would hippies even make anybody tremble in their boots, especially the government or the military? But this is what was on, this came out to us just today from Fox Nation. This report was a few days old, though. Obama administration, quote, "The war on terror is over." The National Journal reported that a senior State Department official has announced the war on terror is over. Now that we have killed most of Al-Qaeda, their own operatives, look it up, do some research on your own. Check the links below in the description to find out more information. Now that people have come to see legitimate means of expression, i.e. the Arab Spring that put Al-Qaeda in power in Libya and in Egypt, and is attempting to do the same in Syria, just start page, Al-Qaeda flag flies over Libya, Al-Qaeda in Egypt, United States paying Al-Qaeda in Syria, insurgents getting paychecks in Syria, and you'll find that, yes, we may have killed all of those in Al-Qaeda that we didn't want to use anymore, but all of the others are still there. They're just now out in the open working for us, when we all know, well, most of you and those that do not know should do their research, that we created Al-Qaeda in the late 70s and the early 80s to battle the Soviets in Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden was on the payroll of the United States. Start page, Tim Osment, O-Z-M-E-N-T, Tim Osment. That was his CIA handle. But back to the news of the day. So the war on terror is over. Well, it's about time. It's a war that's been going on for over 10 years that brought us the Patriot Act, the NDAA, the National Defense Resource Preparedness Act, Guantanamo Bay, multiple torture sites, black torture sites, using airplanes to rendition people into other countries so other countries would do our torturing for us, foiled FBI plots rife with entrapment and semi-retarded or mentally challenged suspects. But the Obama administration says the war on terror is over. Well, if it's over, then why do we have this from the Mail Online, Daily Mail out of the UK? Again, foreign publications and foreign press reporting on the news that our press should be reporting on. Is there a drone in your neighborhood? Rise of spy planes exposed after FAA is forced to reveal 63 launch sites across the U.S. So they had stated, I believe, that they wanted, was it 1,500 or 15,000 drones by 2020 flying above your heads. Well, now it turns out, after a Freedom of Information lawsuit, of course, we have to sue the government to get information that is ours because we created the government and we are the sovereigns, not them. But there are at least 63 active drone sites around the U.S. None in Missouri, but 2 in Kansas, 1 in Arkansas, a bunch in the Southeast, along the Rocky Mountains, California, Northeast, Florida, Texas. There's a lot in Texas. Why would there be a lot in Texas? Gun owners, patriots, people who don't need the government to take care of themselves. As Alex Jones likes to say, the enemy is someone who can run a trout line and skin a buck. Because if you can create your own, if you can survive and find your own food and shelter and defend your own property, then you don't need the government. So if the war on terror is over, why do we need these drones? Shut them down. Call your congressman and tell him to shut them down. And if the war on terror is over, why do we have this? Again, from the Mail Online. You won't find this in Fox News. You won't find this on MSNBC, Yahoo News, or anywhere, because this is embarrassing to the United States. Weeping 4-year-old girl accused of carrying a gun by TSA officers after she hugged her grandmother while passing through security. Her grandmother got pointed out or picked out for an enhanced pat down. This 4-year-old girl went to her grandmother, hugged her because she didn't know what was going on, and the TSA agents immediately detained the girl and said that she was trying to get a gun from her grandmother in lieu of having to go through security screening. This was in Wichita, Kansas, and she was sequestered, had a pat down while she was screaming. The TSA agent also said they would shut down the airport and no planes would leave until she stopped acting out. Might as well handcuff her, as the people in Georgia did just the other day. Watch that Flashpoint Radio as well. Another story involving our great Transportation Security Administration. San Antonio, KENS5.com. Congressman Canseco says TSA agent assaulted him during a pat-down. Yes, the TSA. So, if the war on terror is over, shut down the TSA. Shut it down. Call Barack Obama and say, if the war on terror is over, then we have no need to have our genitals groped, our wives and our children groped at a public place for pedophile training and for molestation training. So shut it down, because the war is over. And we're going to go into why. Well, if the war on terror is over, they're just going to pivot from the war on radical Islam, which is, in Hitler's Germany, they decided to go after the communists first. Did you know that? The communists and the socialists were the first ones targeted. Not the Jews, it was the communists. Because why? It was popular to go after the communists because they were nationalists. They liked their country. They didn't like communists. So you go after somebody who is not popular, then you pivot to those that are dangerous. Al-Qaeda, radical Islam does not pose a danger to you or this government or anybody in this country inside this border. But who does? Well, if you remember the MIAC report, link below, militia members, people who think the government is overreaching their powers, people who think we should leave the UN. How about this from Infowars.com? Feds label bulk buying of food a potential terrorist activity. Or how about this from Infowars.com via the American Dream? If you love individual liberty, or if you believe in conspiracy theories, you are a potential terrorist. Hell, they even have reports out now, just search them. Wearing blue jeans makes you a terrorist. Sweating makes you a terrorist. Writing in a notebook makes you a terrorist. Using a camera makes you a terrorist. Having a backpack makes you a terrorist. Looking around makes you a terrorist. Well, the Obama administration says the war on terror is over. Do not believe them. You'll believe, well, it's over. We don't have to fight them anymore. But guess what? You might be the next enemy. So prepare yourselves. Have love in your heart. Don't fall victim to their tricks. The war is not over. They're just pivoting to who is dangerous, and that is people who do not need the government, which I hope that is you. And if it is not you, get there. Jay-Z signing off saying, God bless. Keep your eyes to the sky. All the world will suffer, the
wicked clutch.